Okay.
Now we know it's official. Anyway, that's a little better. I tried to hang a backdrop. Well, it looks tacky, that's okay. See, this is the problem. You interview your friends. You forget that you're supposed to be polite. So, okay.
At least I see your face, so we should more often.
Yeah, we should. We should. So,
Yeah.
we'll start now. We'll cut this part off. Yvana, it is so nice to see your face.
Nice to see your face too.
And as you were saying before we started, we have known each other for a long time, and it's been a really long time since we had a one-on-one. So I'm very excited about this, just to see you. So I told you that I wanted to start with that great quote that you shared with us when at the beginning of deciding what the interviews were going to be, and you drafted questions. And you found a quote by Carter E. Foster, a curator at the Whitney Museum in New York. And he said, artists are driven to do what they do, no matter what. It's a very powerful ambition, and they pursue it in whatever way works for them. Artists have a practice, and pursuing and developing it is always the motivating factor, not whether they will sell something or even find a venue in which it can be seen. In my experience, artists are among the most self-motivated, organized, the most disciplined, and the hardest working people I know. Sure, some artists are lucky enough that they can make a living doing it, while other artists work day jobs or supplement their practice by teaching or other means. But I don't think the distinction is important. It's the seriousness of purpose that I admire the most. And that sounded like you. The first time I read it, which of course was months ago, that sounded like you. I've known you for so long, and I followed your work for so long. I mean, I feel like I've known you since you were a kid. I mean, you're always very grown-up acting, but your open-mindedness and enthusiasm, and I hope you never lose that completely, like a lot of us do as we get older. But I remember I was always impressed by that and inspired by that. So can you talk about your background and your work experience, creative process, and studio practice, and how you sustain your creative life while juggling all the things that you do, which I know is not just paid for work. You do a lot of volunteer stuff too.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for interviewing me. I think it's my first interview, art interview or whatsoever.
Really?
Well, I'm about my background, I've started painting when I was, I think, very little, maybe 7, 10, something like that. And I always liked painting. I think it was my first love, you know, the real process of the color and the brushes and everything. And my father liked painting too, and he still does, and he still paints. So I think I
had no idea.
I'm getting my my love of painting and cooking from my father. So coming from Macedonia, uh, which is a very interesting country to live in, because I was always surrounded by my friends, artist friends, and lots of interesting people living there. So I was in a high school in a French bilingual class. So I applied for I remember for art prize in painting, and I got a first prize when I was 18 years old.
Oh,
So that was like a first trip to France, to Paris for days, and it was my first experience here as a young girl. And then I get to apply for university for art, visual arts. And like I always knew I want to study in France because I like the culture and I like to, cinema and
mhm.
everything in general about France. So I came here at 18, and yeah, it was quite a road till now. So I started my university in Paris and in visual arts, and it was very interesting because I was surrounded all the time with different cultures, with different people. And I was painting the first years, even if it was difficult because I was in a small studio, and the difference between the Macedonia and France, everything is small. So I had to adapt in my smaller studio to be able to
Like New
do
York.
big format of painting. And then like the second year, I remember I discovered camera and like video editing, and I started to work with my longtime collaborator, who is Boris Zarski. So we made our first video art called Love Experiment, and we filmed that, just something happening behind bottles. And I started to understand video editing and the cameras. I found like a way of painting in the like a digital brush or something. So I started with video art from 2010 until now. I've been working a lot with video art. Not that I forgot, or not that I put painting away, but it was easier for me to adapt in my studio, which is not still a studio, and I don't have a studio. But yeah, that was my beginning. Talking about studio practice, I don't have my art studio. I'm always adapting to my normal apartment or whatever. And what did you ask me? How do I sustain my life while working?
Right.
It's a tough question because I was like, I'm always working jobs that allows me to pay my bills and everything. But right now I'm an art professor to smaller group of kids, like from 7 to 10, and it's very interesting job. And also like I give English class to younger kids. So I don't really live from my art, but I always push myself to do more and more. And right now I'm starting a process to look for a real studio art where I can finally put myself to painting again,
Right.
and all my materials and everything. So yeah, hope I answered your question. But a creative
That's really interesting. I didn't know that you were that serious a painter. I thought that your primary orientation was photography and filmmaking.
no, photography, filmmaking really came I did photography when in Macedonia, but it was really a play with the camera. I had like the most ordinary camera at the time, and analog photography too, but I didn't experiment like I did in Paris with video art, which was 2010.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think 2010, since today I really progressed with video art and with images and video editing. So it was a lot of interesting collaboration also.
Yeah.
But I consider myself as a painter first and then as a video artist, because I always work with color, and color is a very important key in my work.
I've seen that there always seems to be a lot of sensitivity around color in your work, that it's an important part of whatever it is that you're composing, whether it's a photograph, whether it's a video, mixed media, multimedia. There's always color.
I think music is also a big key to my work, to my video work, because I always think about which kind of sound I'm gonna put to that video. If it's like just moving images, or if I do some dance video, it's always the music. So I'm always collaborating with my musician friends who are doing their own music. So it's been quite a nice experience working with all people.
So,
Which
do you have a music background yourself? Was that part of your?
I was playing piano when I was little, and I was in choir, you say, like I was singing for 8 years. I was a mezzo soprano, but I quit that.
Wow. I think I did know. I think I knew about the singing, but I didn't know. I'm moving my microphone because there is a jackhammer cutting up the pavement outside. Actors, don't know how to express myself like normal people. So, what was my next question? Oh, I wanted to ask you, you seem to have exhibited a lot, like in the last year and a half or 2 years, and you just had a major exhibition, right?
Yeah, we had an exhibition with Borean in Paris like the previous week. And it was a digital exhibition called After Yves Klein, the French artist, which we're inspired much because we're preparing a documentary about Klein's life and work.
Oh, so wow, that's great.
Yeah, it is a project that it's been like working for years now, but this was like a collaborative video of augmented selfies, and it was like composed from small video essays made by ourselves and other artists, and it was always in the framework of massive cooperation, which was inspired by his ex voto, the colors of IKB blue, rose, and gold color. So we were using some 3D modeling, glitch, pixel sorting, and stuff like that. And for the first time, for the second times, our videos were exposed on a big screen, on a, call it in French, like a digital guinguette, like a numeric, how do you call it? Yeah, it's like a digital museum, which is open publicly for everyone. So everyone can visualize the video because it's on loop, and inside we projected some other works, and we had some private DJs, so it was very cool.
Yeah. Wow.
To see we had in Russia too, I think the flat was even bigger. But you know, as a video artist, it's very tricky to assist to your own exhibition when you're like showing your video, because till now nobody invited me to go to my own exhibition. You know, they're like always taking your work to project, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody is organizing, like the curator or whatsoever, you know, to invite the artist and then to do a proper opening, you know, with everyone.
Right, right.
But yeah, I've been doing a lot of exhibition, like you said, but I'm not always present. If it's not in France, if it's not in Macedonia, it's not possible for me to go because of
That's,
that.
yeah.
I think that's
unless they have some sort of grant or funding for artists. That, I think that's the way it is with a lot of artists.
well, I think maybe the funding and the thing, it's probably more with art residency, as I understood till now, because for me, like I organize also exhibitions, and I've been like 2 times I curate 2 exhibitions, but I'm always like I do the communication and the organization, and I'm very, you know, very strict to that. And I think that each artist needs to be present to his own exhibition, because it's important day, and you know, you have to have a grant, like you say, for these kinds of, it's not like inviting the artist but the artist is not present.
Yeah, like it's more of a complete experience, both for the artists and for the viewers, and probably the curator also, especially if you don't personally know the curator, and they get a more complete picture of you, because we can't really separate our lives, our personalities, whatever stage of life we're at the time. That's for an integrated person. That that separation isn't even realistic. You can't really dissociate yourself from your art. Just my opinion. As you know, I'm very opinionated. So, God, these are great answers. Did you write these down? Or
No,
no?
I tried to do this morning, and I was like, I needed to go out and do some other paperwork. So no, I didn't write the answers, and I was like, I'm not ready. And now, like 20 minutes before putting on the Zoom, when I saw the camera, I was like, now I'm even glitched, and this is like and should I show myself like this, or should I try with my oh.
I put on lipstick. That's my contribution. But so let's see. So I definitely would, because I don't think this has really come up with anyone else that I've talked to. You not only make work about social issues, you also write, curate, and run programs for other artists. And what drives you to do that? Where does that energy and incentive come from?
I don't know if my work talks about social issues. I think your
To a certain extent. I mean, you're not heavy-handed or propagandistic or rigid, but like I say, that's part of being an integrated person.
yeah.
It's part, that's part, an awareness is that you're not the only person on the planet. Is just, that's just part of a whole of an integrated person.
his name was Bob Georgeson from Australia. He told me that I'm very much present in my own video work. I was like, I don't know, like maybe. And then I really understood that when I put myself in front of the camera, it even works better.
What?
It even works better for the viewer, you know, for the spectator. But that's another issue. So
I'm not sure that it is that, because I've had that experience that people have told me my work is better when I do it myself. And I'm an actor and I like to act. So I have a biased opinion about it, but like I say, I do think it's part of the whole. I mean, I'm getting to a point where I would like to try harder to get money so that I can do bigger things, for which I would need more people. And what I hope is that is that I have enough of a foundation that I could direct people to perform my vision, but still being true to themselves. And that's one thing I would say about your work is it seems true, like good acting. It's true to the person who's performing it, while it's being true to the vision of the artist. And the artist is you, but your artist and your writer, your actor and your writer, your actor and your director, if you're wearing all the hats, those are still different roles.
Yeah.
They're not the same role.
It's very interesting. I think I should have done some, I needed to do some acting school, but I was so shy. When I was younger, I was very shy. I was like, you know, I never thought I would put myself in front of the camera. I think I gained the courage to do these kind of videos and everything with my age and with the experience of being like a loner and an artist and in a world that nobody knows me. And when I try to, you know, to get myself in the art world or to get followers or whatever, friends and everything. So it's been quite a job, but my main skill is communication. I think that was also my PhD, art information and communication. So I've been like I worked with a lot of people, but it was really the facility of Facebook and Instagram helped me a lot to meet like you and, you know, Pascale or Matt or everyone that we know via Facebook. So that's very helping for an artist today.
I think so. Yeah.
So the question that you asked me about the social issues, if I write, I curated like 2 exhibitions, but I'm vice president of my association, art association with Borian, which is called Elements of Barut, and we always promote the work online, and we did several exhibitions here in France. But my main project for my PhD is called Organon, and on that page, which is still not done, we wanted to gain, like, to have a collaborative space where video artists can do the video editing online on the page and put video works of other artists. Like, each artist has his own profile, but it's still like it's not done. I'm still working on that project, but I think the key work of my video and everything is the collaboration, the cooperation, as we say it here. It was my thesis also, the aesthetics of artistic cooperation, and I very much enjoy the process of it. So I think it's like so, it's rich to have those people around you and to be able to exchange ideas and to be able to understand your way of saying, my way of saying, and to be able to create something unique and what do you say, like um I forgot the word. Never mind. I my English constantly.
Oh, but you do communicate
What drives me
beautifully.
to those activities? Yeah, that was the question. What drives me to those activities? I think if I don't do that, I'm no good to anything else. I think art is my best way to express myself. If it's in art or in cooking or whatever it is, it's for me it was art since forever. I don't think I would have been anything else, which is in the same time very tricky because you cannot make a lot of living from it, but
Right.
we're still fighting. So
It's a way of surviving because you have to survive in here too, right?
yeah,
In here.
nobody can understand that, I think.
Okay. Every artist has a handful of other artists that they look to for inspiration and guidance. Is there a particular artist that inspired you to pursue your career as a filmmaker?
Yeah, here you told me like to choose um one point.
Right. The let's see.
Well, I will choose John Berger because he said like the painter's way of seeing is reconstituted by the marks he makes on the canvas or paper. Yet, although every image embodies a way of seeing, our perception or appreciation of the image depends also upon our own way of seeing. Why I like John Berger? First of all, he helped me a lot to understand, what is art writing, how to train my eye, a lot of ideas about photography, which was very influential about my work. And when I think about painting, I always start with a mark. I really don't know. When I put the brush on the canvas, I really don't know what I'm doing. It's like, okay, maybe it's gonna be a face. Maybe it's usually face. I'm very figurative painter. I'm fascinated by face and and bodies. So it's always that mark, which is rarely maybe on the video, except when I'm presenting myself, or the last video, which was you were in, the face of the other, which was exposed
Yeah, that
in
was really an interesting project.
yeah, interesting because I was watching, I was listening to an Italian song. I love Italian songs. I love Italian culture. And I was listening to Ornella Vanoni's song, and the video was Nicole Kidman watching herself in front of the camera
Right,
in,
right, right.
with the boy, and she was like staring the camera and doing nothing else. And she started crying, and all the emotion you can see from her face. And I was like, wow, this is very touching, this is like a very good idea. I'm gonna ask all my friends to film themselves in the camera, like doing nothing. If you wanna cry, you can just cry. And it was very touching for me. Like when I was editing the video, I was literally crying, like all these faces, I know some of them, and I'm in
Did you
interaction.
document yourself editing? Because that would be interesting. If
I
you had,
did.
like to capture some of those moments, that would be very interesting to have seen that.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Next time.
Oh, artists don't really have it next time. We kind of, oh, wow, this is really cool. I'm going to do that next. Well, we have to wind up, but this has really been fun. And you made my day. When I saw your face, my day was made.
Well, I'm happy about that.
And oh, wow, I realize it's, what is it? Is it 7:38 where you are?
7:35, yeah.
7:35. So there's still a little bit of evening left to just enjoy life, enjoy media, enjoy quiet, enjoy a book or music. And so I wish you a lovely rest of the evening.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.